Alright, so today on the Fixit Shed, I want to take a look at why my 2012 Ford Focus doesn't have any coolant in the reservoir. My guess is that the cooling system has a leak in it someplace, so we're going to check it out. Alright, so as you can see, the coolant reservoir has very little in it. There's maybe a couple of little recesses which have some of the orange coolant in there, but for the most part it's empty. And the car did give me an overheat warning when I had the engine running, so there's not much coolant in there. Okay, so looking underneath the car, the radiator is up here. The drain is over here, this little red cap. And, you know, it drains straight down, which is where this cover is. So we're going to remove this cover. You might also have another belly pan cover underneath here. This one doesn't seem to have it. But if you do, you need to remove that first. So this has a lot of T30 Torx bits. All right, so we're going to get those out. So, and then there's just some clips in the front. There we go. Okay, that's it. All right, so now we should be able to get to the drain plug here. All right, so now I just want to drain some of this out. Oh, great. There we go. I'm just draining it out because I want to see what's in here. So I'm a little bit concerned that the previous owner may have diluted it with water. So I want to test it and see what I get. All right, so just fill it up until it goes all the way to the top. And it looks like, let's see, on the freezing side, this is right around minus 35 degrees. And on the boiling side, it's right at like maybe 265. So this looks like it is a proper mixture, 50-50, of the antifreeze and water mix. So if you look on the back of the antifreeze bottle, it does tell you what the 50-50 mix should be. It's minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit for freezing and plus 265 degrees for boiling. All right, so this looks like it's actually in good shape. So I am going to, we're going to add some and see if it leaks. So I was concerned that there was some water, that the previous owner had added some water and diluted it. But that doesn't appear to be the case. So let's see if we get a leak. All right, so I'm just going to fill up the reservoir here and see if we can figure out where it's leaking from. All right, I don't want to put too much in case I have to drain it back out. So I have it up to the minimum line. Alright, so it did suck some of that down. You know, you can see it did leak. Something dripped. But it stopped. I don't see it dripping anymore. So, alright, I'm going to let that cool off a little bit. And then I'm gonna fill it up to the max line. And then we're gonna run it for a little while. Alright. Alright, so after letting it run for a while, I still don't see any leaks. There was, you know, I saw the drips on the wall down there, and that was coolant. It was orange. So maybe I spilled some when I was pouring it in and I didn't realize it. And I did pour in a half a gallon, so this was quite low. This is a sealed system. It shouldn't be that low. So I want to see if maybe there's any coolant in the cylinders and maybe it's burning it. So I'm going to pull out the spark plugs, and I bought a borescope or endoscope or whatever you want to call it, an inspection camera, so that I can look down in the cylinders and see what's going on. All right, so let's get the spark plugs out. Okay. Okay, so I did also pick up this little borescope. I think I mentioned that. And we want to check down in the cylinders here. Turn on. Record. Alright, so this is the first cylinder. And I don't really see any liquid hanging out in there. Okay, let's check the second cylinder. The piston's way at the top, so can't really see too much. Third cylinder. Yeah, it's the same. Can't see too much, although it does look shinier. Maybe it's a little bit wet, I don't know. And the fourth cylinder. Yeah, I don't see any liquid. So, alright, so I did move the pistons here a little bit. Light up. So number 2 looks pretty dry. And number 3 well, I don't see certainly no liquid in there. But okay, so there's no standing liquid in the pistons. So let's try and pressurize this. Alright, so it does tell you on the cap what the maximum pressure is. This is 21 psi, which is actually a little bit on the high side. So I also picked up the leak kit. So the instructions say for Fords, it's probably either this one or this one. But when I tested them out, it was actually this one. So that seems to work just fine. So we screw that on, and now we're going to pump this up. So pressurizing this will also tell us if we have a leak. So, and I'm just going to pump it up to, I'm going to go in the 15 to 20 range. I'm not going to pump it all the way up to its maximum, just enough. So that I show a leak. Alright, so that's about 18 pounds right there. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Yeah, 17. It's right in between. So it's got to be, it's like 17 pounds. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and keep an eye on things, see if I see anything leaking. Yeah. Nothing on the heater hoses. See anything leaking down below? Alright, so I don't see anything leaking right now. We are losing pressure though. We're down to 15 pounds. Definitely losing pressure. You know, maybe it's not a good seal here. I don't know. But I'm going to check on it in a little bit. Alright, so it's been a few minutes. The pressure has dropped down to 0. And I'm going to look around and see if I can find. Alright, I'm looking at the, I'm looking at the heater core hoses back there. I don't see any leaks there. I don't see anything that's wet around the reservoir. I don't see anything down in there. Let's look underneath. Looking around underneath. This is where the water pump is on this side, and I don't really see anything, looking around at the radiator, everything looks dry under here. Alright, so looking up above the alternator, you can see the aluminum from the block, and then there's a black piece that's attached to it. That is the thermostat housing, and that is also a place where you can often get a leak, but it looks very dry up there, so I don't see anything leaking there. Don't see anything. Alright, just looking around at the floor in the passenger area. This is where the heater core would be. Nothing is wet there. I'm gonna do this again. Alright, recording this time. 1, the piston is up, so can't really see too much, but I don't really see any standing liquid. Tell you what, we're gonna look at 2. I don't see any standing liquid in here. 3. Looks a little oily, but I don't see any liquid. And 4 is going to be like 1, so I'm going to turn the engine a little bit, and then we'll check 1 and 4. Okay, and let's try and record this time. There we go. So now we're gonna look at 1. Again, that looks pretty dry. 1 looks pretty good. Yeah, 4. Again, maybe a little bit oily, but I don't see like any place where antifreeze has leaked in. All right. Let the pressure off. There isn't any. Yeah. So the level on the coolant bottle has gone down. Where'd it go? All right, so we didn't find a leak. Doesn't appear to be coming from the water pump or the thermostat or the heater core hoses or the outlets where the heater hose connects to the engine. The bottle is not leaking, and we checked in the cylinders, so there doesn't appear to be any coolant seeping into the cylinders. I checked the oil. There's no coolant mixing in with the oil. I did check to make sure it wasn't getting wet on the floor inside if the heater core was leaking. So we will keep an eye on it. I guess I've learned that there's nothing catastrophic. You know, there's no cracked block or cracked head or leaking head gasket. Still have to determine where the coolant is going. So at least now I feel comfortable going ahead and working on the transmission. I should be able to run it without it overheating as long as I make sure that this is kept full. So I can run it and get the error codes for the transmission. So, all right, so if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help this channel out, please consider subscribing or becoming a member by clicking the join button below. Thanks for watching. Take care.